All right, everybody, thank you for jumping on with us for our Training Day podcast. I got the boys with me. FFL Inception came in from Indiana to kind of hang out and serve us well. And we got them on this podcast because we want to hear what they're doing to grow. These two guys, Mike and Matt, have built this out of the dirt. They sell a lot of life insurance and certainly teach people to do the exact same. And they're headed towards board member very fast. So we're honored, guys, to have you in studio with us, Matt Borsh and Mike Heuveline. And we're just excited with the things you guys got going, the path that you've laid for your agency and for your agents, and you know what the future holds. So thank you for coming in, and we appreciate you coming on. How you doing?
Doing real well.
Yeah, appreciate you having us.
Absolutely, man. So, you know, we talked a little earlier, but I've been watching you guys since you started, and, you know, it's pretty awesome to see what comprehensively and from a collaboration what you two have been able to do. Maybe everyone doesn't know exactly how your partnership works, though. So can you guys explain, like, who does what and why? I think that would really help, starting with whoever wants to go first.
Yeah. I mean, I think the cool thing that I like about it is we both have strengths and weaknesses, but we don't have defined necessarily like roles in the business as far as I do this and you do this. We both do the same thing. Right. But we come at it from slightly different angles with different personalities. And so that really helps us figure out what's working, what doesn't work. Hey, I'm not connecting with this agent like I want to. And then he probably will, or vice versa.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of power in that, I think. And then also the accountability of, hey, like, you know, we're just going to work together. And, you know, the dynamic duo really, it really helps.
That's awesome. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, it's just powerful. You know, coming to the business, Matt was 6 months ahead of me in the business. So it was really big for me. Like, I was learning from him as well. He's 6 months ahead of me. So it was just, it's constantly like we want to grow so bad and help so many families. And so it's constantly, daily we're getting together. How can we improve on this? How can we make this thing go faster? You know, and it's just been a great partnership with just arm in arm, you know, building this thing and helping others, helping invest in our managers, invest in our people. Again, on a day-to-day, again, it's a lot of just working with agents, selling, and, you know, recruiting. So that's just what it boils down to. But we all get, like you said, both have our different spin on things, but it works for us. So.
No doubt. And what I love about it the most, like the way you guys made it work, right? You both suppressed your egos and have learned each other's strengths and weaknesses and have played out. You know how hard that's super hard to do. Like, you guys make it seem so seamless that you've adapted each other's personalities and have deployed strengths where strengths should go and have secured weaknesses. That's just not that simple in a partnership where there's mutual respect, and doesn't mean everything's perfect. It just means that you guys are willing to suppress whatever you need to for the business, for the people. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's the shared passion and the shared drive, like he was talking about. Like, that's what we were talking about when we got into this. You know, our goal and our passion is to help everyone out there do this thing faster. You know, I've got 6 months on him. I've been here, you know, over 2.5 years, but it shouldn't take 2.5 years to get to where we're at now.
Right.
Half that, maybe, if you're going a little slow.
Sure.
You know, I joke with agents, you know how when you're driving down a side street or like a parking lot that's got road bumps on them, if you can, you drive around them. Right? You're like, I don't want to go over that. We've hit every single one in this business. So it's like, hey, let us help you navigate this thing a lot quicker and a lot smoother. And that's kind of where the passion comes from. You know, it's like, hey, this business is the most incredible opportunity out there, period.
Right.
And you can see such insane growth so quickly. Let us help you through that. Let's show you the lessons, put in the work. We'll team up with you. And so that's where we come at it with. And I think because it's a true passion that we both share, like, it's easy to work together. And it helps that we've both been married for a while too. So right. We know how to be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, when you first made the pothole analogy, it reminded me, because yesterday morning I'm on my way to church and my PSI is at like a 33. It's supposed to be at a 44.
Yeah.
And no big deal. It's cold. It happens. I go to the gas station. I go to the tire place, put some air in my tire, and I'm moving on about my day. I woke up this morning, my PSI is at 27. So I got a problem. And the reality is that tire had a bubble in it already from hitting potholes. So when you said that, my mind was like, I need air. Like, and I just in my head. Yeah. But it's so true. You're trying to avoid this stuff so that you can have faster growth. And now you both have taken this thing from a sales perspective and have both sold a lot of life insurance and helped a lot of families. You know, what is your mindset? You also have a team that's selling a lot of life insurance and helping a lot of families. What is your mindset on what we do from a sales perspective and why it's so important for agents to double, triple, quadruple down on it?
Yeah, I think it starts with leading by example. I would say one of my weaknesses last year was not doing that enough. And that starts with writing. And that starts with teaching people like, hey, come watch me do this. And then when you get on, I'm gonna coach you as well. So it's just doing it at a high level. And my part of my mental block last year was it's hard to help an agent if I'm not consistently doing it because I can't empower them if I don't feel empowered myself. And so when I write, I'm only protecting 3-4 families a week. That's a problem because it's hard for me to say this passionately and really like encourage agents to take it to the next level if I'm not doing it myself. And then I lack confidence when I'm going through rough periods of time and rough struggles when I'm not writing at a high level. So now this year, just like I'm obliterating this thing. I'm hitting Hall of Fame super early this year. There's no I'm not playing games. And so it allows me to be way more aggressive with agents and how I talk to them and how I coach them because I'm leading by example. And that was my fallout last year that is not happening this year. So.
What made you last year take a step back? Because in 2021, you killed it, personal. What made you take a step back in 22?
Well, to start off the year, it was, mortgage went down, right? And so it took me so long throughout the year to pivot, which never should have been the case. This year, we have so many options with leads. Like, leads are not enough. Yeah. Like, that's, again, it was, they would tell us, hey, make sure, coming into the new year, make sure your leads are good because mortgage is going to fall off. Of course, I was like, oh, yeah, that'll happen. Sure. Right? Like, yeah, I got you, man, right? And it just took me forever to pivot.
Right.
And this year, it's like, you got to make stuff happen so much quicker. And we have a lot more opportunity out there. We did a good job this year, I think, of positioning ourselves with multiple vendors, and leads aren't an issue. Now, it's just, eliminate confusion and go to work.
Love it.
I would add something to that as well that I think can help a lot of people out there. I think a lot of last year's learning curve as far as not being super intentional about leading from the front with our personal writing was coming from a place of overcomplicating the business. We thought, hey, let's really help other people grow and do, what we're doing and what we did. And the way you do that is not by taking your foot off the gas and going and helping them do it. You just keep doing what you're telling them to do so that they follow along. And so it was, it was from a good place, but it was just, kind of naive. And that's why you hear everyone preach, write and recruit, because that is the business.
Right.
That's all there is to it. And we just tried to overcomplicate it a little bit, and we're not doing that anymore.
That's great, man. I mean, again, a lot of times this phrase of back to the basics, how many times do we do the basics, it does well, and then the new idea department must open.
Yep.
Right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? It's good to have your head on a swivel in business or be thinking a few steps ahead or try to, do different things. But the basics are still the basics are still the basics are still the basics, and the basics still work. If the basics stop working, let me know. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny, and this isn't just for you guys. This is for anyone listening. Listen, you guys are experiencing amazing growth. So we're going to talk about that as well. But it's important that, hey, write and recruit, because, as you said, that's the business. What else do you want the business to be? Like, it works, right? So when you think, let's talk about this amazing team you have, full of, selfless people who are excited and just go out and help a lot of families and are bringing on some of their friends as well. what do you see when you're looking at what it took to kind of instill confidence and get people to kind of get to their level of leadership that allows them to now help the business grow? When you looked at that landscape then, what are some of the things you did to do that? And then looking at it now, what are some of the things you're doing to keep the flame stoked?
Yeah. I would say part of that growth for me, and I'm sure it'll be different for you, Mike, but part of that growth for me was realizing that not everyone thinks like me and not everyone wants what I want as bad as I want it.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two thoughts were really powerful for me to not just have them, but to, kind of believe in them and kind of consume them. So just really making sure that we connect super closely with every agent, manager, every person in our business, understanding where they're at personally and where they want to take the business and how committed they are to getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we're not pressuring them to do something that we think they want to do, but they don't actually want to do it.
Right.
And the problem is if you don't know them on a deep personal level, if you haven't given the effort and the time that it takes to get to know them at that level, like you've done with us, they won't share their actual goals with you. They'll share what they think you want their goals to be with you. And then you'll be so confused when they don't go out there and pursue the goals that you thought they should be doing. You're like, hey, what's going on here? You told me you want this and you're not doing it. Well, it's because you don't know them. And so they're just telling you what you want to hear.
Wow.
So that was a big learning curve and growth level for me was getting close to people in that way so I can because that's on me.
Mm-hmm.
If I get to know them truly, they share their actual goals with me. And now I can do what I want to do, which is help them reach their goals.
Right.
I just need to know what they are.
Right. Got it. Mike, I'm assuming you see that a little bit differently, but I want to hear your take as well, because there was a time where you guys had separate agencies and you're trying to work with your people, he's trying to work with his, and you guys combined, and seeing that kind of go where it's gone. What were your thoughts on how to kind of foster and get this thing rolling?
So kind of getting going, it was just, any agent that comes on, I just had the mindset, I won't let you fail. If you're putting in the time and energy, whether that's my own resources, whether that's my time, like I needed these people. Like I brought in a lot of my warm market, and I'm like, Mike Travis, when he came on, I'm like, I won't let you fail. If you're going to work, doing everything you ask to do, if they're the helps, I helped them multiple times with leads, getting going, right? And it was just, I was just had his back, and I think having that relationship where I look him in the eye and be like, hey, I'm not gonna let you fail. If you do everything so that gave him that confidence to leave, his job, he's got kids, so it was just, there was no right. In my mind, there's no way I was gonna let him fail.
Yeah.
And he put the work in and he grew. So that's just kind of how all my agents that came on, I would just say, look, if you're doing everything that we ask you to do, we won't let you fail. And I think that's something we kind of take on recently, where it's like, we're getting a lot of people that are going from part-time to full-time. They have that fear that I'm like, look, I want to be there, that's financially, whether that's, in the appointments with you, helping you there, just having that immense amount of support. We want them to feel overwhelmed with support. And I think that was something that, from the get-go, it's just, you're dealing with people.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure they felt that from me, that, they know I have, at any point in time, I'll go through whatever I got to do with them to make sure that they're successful here.
Love it. Yeah. I love it. I'm really seeing y'all operate now. I'm watching it, and it's great. When you think about where you are now, though, now you have leaders who are doing volume every week. They're running their own trainings. They're running their own leaderboards. They're trying to grow their deal week in and week out. That's also a little bit different, is it not? I mean, it's like when you're looking Travis in the eye, he's still working at his job. He's scared. And you're like, bro, if you do the work, I will not let you fail. Now they're at a different level, right? Mm-hmm. So for people listening who are trying to understand the evolution of a business owner in our business, what is your approach today? How are you pouring gasoline on some of the things you've already said?
Yeah. I would say a lesson learned there for me was everyone has their own time. Everyone has their own time, whether it's an agent or, a business builder. They're going to do it on their own time. My responsibility is not to build it for them or to do it for them. Mm-hmm. My responsibility is just to make sure that they have the opportunity to be around the flame.
Yeah.
You know, I've been talking a lot with some of the up and coming groups in our group, and you know, they're thinking about, oh, this guy's not doing what I want him to do, and I haven't heard from this guy in a while, and how do I help these guys go? And I was like, well, make the flame hotter and more attractive for them to get back
really good.
to get back around it.
Right.
And
so good.
that was a tough pill to swallow, because you know, I'm OCD, I'm trying to control everything, and this guy should be doing this, and this guy should be doing this. Why isn't he doing that?
Right.
Right. And we want to help them,
Right.
but they have to help themselves. So
good.
make the flame hot and attractive for people to want to be around it, but also keep looking for more people that are looking for a fire to be around. And then that makes the natural tendency is, oh, hey, what are they doing over there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a new guy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, they're getting close to me. Oh, I don't want them to pass me up. So that's been key.
That might be the best I've heard it said, is make the fire hotter and to get more people around it. Like, that's really good, because that is 100% on you, right? Yeah. Let's not blame outside factors. It's a volunteer army. People can come and go as they please. People can write as much as they want, or wake up at 11 and eat bonbons.
Yep.
But the reality is if Matt Borsh wants it to grow, Matt Borsh needs to make the fire hotter.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. What about you, Mike?
You know, I think to empower our managers, right? It's right now you're seeing those multiple layers of growth and new people bringing new people. And we always want to, like, if we knew a group of people is bringing on, you know, we have a manager bringing on, or a new hire bringing on a group of people, we'll fly anywhere, anytime to work with them. We've gone to Utah, Florida. Like, if agent A brings in, like, says, hey, I have 3-4 people, sharp people, like, we're there within a week. Like, meeting with them, working on them, getting a plan in place. Like, we're just pouring into them. We were somewhere, you know, we were hour and a half drive last week to have break bread with a family. And they brought people, and like, that's what we want to do. Like, and so that we always want our agent or our managers focused on writing. But if you're bringing in sharp people, like, let us work with them, let us help develop them. Like, so that way, because a lot of times with a new manager, I know what's this way, case for myself starting off is I was trying to balance that writing at a high level, but also making sure that I wasn't letting my people down. And we want to be that kind of like that gap that always bridges people and make sure that at the end of the day, we're empowering our managers to make sure they can always, like, take that burden off them a little bit.
Right.
Even though they're still working with them, but we can connect them and, you know, empower and get those new agents up and going, and again, build that relationship there.
Love it. When you think about the evolution of telesales and where you guys are now, how much percent of your agency would you say is now telesales?
We're close to 100%.
Yeah.
I would say 90, 95.
Right.
Yeah.
And your whole team started in the field.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you guys absolutely watched people go from the field to telesales and stumble and stable and become successful. Again, talk to someone who's going through that transition, and what was that transition like for your agency?
I mean, for me, it's a whole new level of discipline, because it's one thing to be working. If, you know, for me, early on, I learned a lesson where I was home anytime I could be if I was local, you know, no show, gap in the schedule, whatever. So I couldn't even run in my local county or any surrounding counties. I was like, no, I got to get out to make sure I'm going to work each day.
Right.
So I did that, and it's hard to not work when you're out doing that. You know, It's a lot easier to door knock and do what you got to do, stack the schedule. But for the telesales, it's a whole new level of discipline to be able to keep working hard all day and be honest with yourself if you're doing that hard work. I think that live dials that, you know, so many of our groups are doing, you guys are doing it, we're doing it. I like that shared accountability, but it's not the same. So you really have to up your discipline level, you know, just personal development of, hey, like, how bad do I really want to do this thing? Do I have the discipline to get this thing done? And I think being in a local office, even if you're virtual, is super important. I know it's important for us, the people local to us, because, yeah, you can work from home, but we've heard from so many agents like, oh, I went from working at my house virtual to working in an office virtual, and it really helped me step it up.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Huge
so that discipline level was big for me, just making sure I am working.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? Watching that thing evolve, watching, you know, producer after producer after producer say, hey, and then you guys said it, right? Yeah. Like, you said it. You helped 12 families last week. All telesales. What is that? How have you seen that change and give you good thoughts about the growth to come for your agency?
So obviously I'm from Maine. There's not. I'll start there, right? So I have a rather large warm market in Maine.
Right.
But up until this point, the problem is the whole population of Maine's 1 million people.
Right.
And so there's just not a ton of leads up there.
Right.
And then Maine's kind of a state by itself. So with this whole reality, with this whole the business going virtual, leads are everywhere.
Right.
That totally eliminates that.
That's huge.
And so that allows me to go to these different places or to work with a single mom that can't drive all day long like we used to do.
Right.
My sister's getting into this right now, and she's starting to really crush it, and she's a single mom.
Right.
Like trying to make things happen. This allows her to stay at home and be a mom still. And so I just love the avenues that it opens up. Just from my prior sales management, sales is a numbers game, and I love being able to do 20, 25 families stacked as far as appointments, right? They're not all going to show. So I had to double or sometimes even triple what I was going to run in a field. I generally on a 10 in a day is generally pretty good, right?
Right.
But over the phone, I don't have that drive time, so I can do 20, 25 appointments. I can book every half hour.
Wow.
And just boom, 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 boom all day long. And so that's where it's changed my mind to there's no way I shouldn't write more over the next couple of weeks virtually than I will in person. Because sales is strictly a numbers game.
Right.
And so, and also it's what it's going to allow us to do. And then, when I don't have an appointment, like any of our directs, I'm like, hey, message me. If you have, message me your schedule for the day, and I'm going to jump into Zoom and work with you and make sure that you're because I can always tell a new agent when they come on, I'll say, hey, if you could take Matt or I and an appointment with you, like if we were doing this in person, would you take us along? And they're like, yeah, of course. Like you have that opportunity here.
Right.
So it's up to you. If you don't text me your schedule, I can't help you.
Right.
So, and our whole job is to make sure you make money. So that's the great thing about it is I can jump in a Zoom and we can text, do whatever. They can mute out, and it allows us to empower the agent even more to make money and to help them and their family.
Yeah, Mike helped 2 brand new agents help their first family last week, live on Zoom, walking them through the app. Yeah, it's money.
Facts. Yeah. That's great, man. Now we're talking about scale. We're talking about where you are as Inception, your goal to hit board member and beyond. Yep. What are the goals you have for your group for 2023?
Yeah, so we're gonna do board member here in March.
Love it.
Yeah, right now.
Let's go. My man calling the shot like Babe Ruth. I like it. He pointed it out. Let's go, baby.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we got a big contest running. We've got a lot of our agents ready to set record months. We had a couple agents. One agent helped 32 families over the weekend. Another one helped 12. Like people are setting records. People are fired up. So it's going to be a big year. We're really excited about that. So board member March, and then we'll be helping 2,500 families a month this December.
Love it.
We have 4 official logos currently. We'll have 12 by the end of this year. A dozen.
I like it.
Yep.
Clear.
Yep. And then
write it down. Make it plain.
Yeah. 3 of those are going to be new direct people from our personal recruiting that we're doing, leading from the front, like we were talking about with writing.
Yeah.
Encouraging that, and then 20 Hall of Famers. We had 5 this past year, so we're going to hit 20 this year.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. But that's it. Those are all the goals.
I'm impressed. We talked a little bit about warm market earlier. What's some of your feedback from, you have a very warm market agency right now. And then the ability to continue to drive this thing through the use of a list and through the use of potentially something like the warm market blitz that we've enacted over the last 4 or 5 months, and just kind of making that plain. What are your thoughts on that, Mike, and your ability to continue to drive this thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, sales is a numbers game, right? So we can pump more numbers into this, and it's not overthinking the business. It's a very simple business. We just tend to overcomplicate the heck out of it, right? So it just, as soon as we get a new agent on, get them onboarded, and then it's like, all right, who do you have? Especially when they make a sale or two, they start to get that belief, right? Who do you have that you think would be a good fit here?
Yeah.
Give me 15, 20 names. Let me help you try to build your business.
Right. It's huge.
Well, and a lot of times from that interaction, it's, I don't feel comfortable right off because, I haven't proved it for myself. No, that's where I'm going to help you.
Right, correct.
I'm going to be the one working with your agents and helping you and help develop you and your agents at the same time.
That's strong.
Because I always say, I watched Ivan's podcast when I first got started, where his biggest regret was not recruiting soon enough. And I was like, that's not going to be me. So that's when, again, I got Travis before I got started, right? And I started to build right away we want our agents to know that same message, where when you get on day one, you're gonna recruit. And if you want to build a business, we're here to help you.
100%.
Empower your people, and then, work the list, help them, again, call through and start that process.
That's awesome. How about you?
Yeah. For me, I think, I'm a skeptic, right? My story for when I got in, I didn't believe Gabe and Caleb when they were showing me their bank statements, telling me what they were doing, and then I did join, but then I said, I'm never going to build a team, right? And so here we are today. So I think, as hard as it is to admit, I think I can be pretty hard-headed and slow to implement at times. And so I think it's the same thing here. It's like, I'm uncomfortable doing that, but when you do it, you're glad you did it, right? Just like any area of life, whether it's the gym or church or whatever. Yeah. And I think it's the same thing here with Warm Market. It's at the beginning I was like, I don't want to be that guy. Well, here we are. I decided, let me actually get uncomfortable and do that, and here we are today. And so it's like, okay, what does the next step like that look like? Well, we're pushing recruiting. We're pushing, hey, let's build your business, help other families, help other agents experience the growth and the potential that Family First gives. But okay, how do I get uncomfortable pushing that to the next level, helping people structure that, like we were talking about with these Warm Market blitzes, doing them weekly, and helping give agents that want to make money, want to build a business, want to help other agents make money, helping them structure that and be accountable and consistent in it. I think that's the next step. But it's just a matter of, are you willing? Do you want it bad enough to get uncomfortable?
Yeah, I love it, man. That word, uncomfortable, is the word. It's when you look at the things that you want to refrain from, but if you do them, you're going to win.
Right.
That's our business. Well, that's life.
Leg day.
Right? That's our business, but that's also life, And I heard a wise man once say, the more uncomfortable you get, the more comfortable your family gets. Mm-hmm. And that's true in our business too.
100%.
Think about the decision you made to get uncomfortable to stop going home, right? It was comfortable. Why did you go home? It was comfortable. Yeah. Middle of your run day, You're making a couple sales, you're making more money than you made, you're excited. Let me go home and see my wife.
Yep.
Why
I'm an
not?
independent contractor. I can do what I want.
It's comfortable. Yeah. It's what you know. Well, when you decided to say, you know what, this is probably not the highest and best use of my time for me to get my family where I think we could be, I'm going to stop doing. And you had a conversation with your wife.
Yeah.
That was uncomfortable. You made that decision. You grew. You shot through the roof. Personal production, no different with building a team. Yeah. You came in wanting to build a team day one, and you got uncomfortable with how fast you wanted to build that team. And it's like, the more uncomfortable we get, the more comfortable our families get. I'm always looking for the next level of uncomfortability, because I know that it's going to lead to something bigger, right? Mm-hmm. So, this has been amazing. Thank you guys for sharing, pouring in to agents that are listening. If each one of you could just give one parting shot to a new agent or a new aspiring manager, what would it be?
For me, I would say, because we'll go back to my skepticism, drop skepticism and increase your level of belief and self-confidence, because I feel like so many of us, we feel like there's a cap to what we can accomplish or do, because out in the real world, that's kind of true. Right. It was where I came from, but here that doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to believe that. It's hard to grasp
at every level, though.
Yeah, at every level.
Not just one time. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you're right. At every level. And so I think it's just for the new agent or anyone listening, it's like, hey, drop that level of where you think, I've reached it, or I can't push it farther, or I can't achieve more, because this is it. And if you go all in, continue getting more uncomfortable, like we were talking about, it's just going to get better and better, and it doesn't stop.
Crazy.
I would say eliminate confusion. A lot of new agents, there's a lot of confusion out there. They want to focus on all these different things, but there's write down the list of things that are absolutely going to make you money, and just that's all your attention is on. I think there's a lot of confusion where, they want to have a new agent comes in, they want to have, they got to have their badge and they got to have their, everything laminated. And it's no, that's not what's going to buy leads, call them, help families. Nothing else matters.
Facts.
So I think as a new agent, eliminate any confusion. Same thing in the business, right? It was like, oh, let's do this and help this person. But no, it's right. Help agents and recruit. And I think if you do that in your business, it helps. If you just, those are the main focal points of your business at all points, whether you're a new agent or someone's been here 2-3 years, I think if you eliminate confusion for yourself and just focus on the things that are going to make you money and help others.
I love it, man. 2 legends from FFL Inception who are out there helping people at all costs, straight up. 2 real dudes. I thank you guys for jumping on with us. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you so much. This is one that you want to play back. Thank you, guys. God bless.